Millennium is now called Millennium and Takeda Oncology Company. We're a fully integrated biopharmaceutical company. Our sole focus is in oncology. We have responsibility for global marketing strategy, commercial strategy, the global development function, both the strategy and the execution, and also for component of drug discovery in oncology. We were founded in 1993. We are headquartered in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We're about 1,200 employees, and I'll get into a moment a little bit about what happened in May 2008. Takeda is the leading pharmaceutical company in Japan. It's focused in several therapeutic areas, but several years ago when they were thinking about their long-term strategic plan, they made the decision that they really wanted to invest more in the oncology area. They had a fairly nascent oncology presence. And to do that, they made the decision to acquire an anchor company, and that was Millennium, a company that had a fully integrated discovery, development, and commercial infrastructure and experience. Is the way to kind of jumpstart their efforts in oncology. And it turns out that Takeda and Millennium have a lot of things in common around the mission and the vision and the culture of the companies. So this all happened, the acquisition, in May 2008. So a major inflection point in the history of Millennium. And Takeda had made the decision to have Millennium an autonomous oncology business unit. Very different than how they ran the rest of their business. That was responsible for worldwide strategy and execution on all of oncology. What I'm primarily going to be focusing on today with you is really related to the development function. And in that acquisition, we also became responsible for the whole oncology pipeline that had already existed at Takeda. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, as we were a standalone company, we had one marketed product and we had about 5 molecules in development. When we were acquired by Takeda, they transitioned all of their existing programs to us, so we went from 4 molecules to 14 molecules in the pipeline. So a very, very major change. And also an expansion into sort of a broader tumor types. We had been primarily focused in the heme area because we had Velcade for myeloma and lymphoma, though we did trials in solid tumors, but Takeda had a real presence in the prostate cancer area. They had discovered and developed Lupron, and they had other molecules in the pipeline in prostate cancer as an example. And also global responsibilities. While we were always developing as a standalone company our molecules from a global perspective, it was always with the eye towards we would ultimately partner globally, and now we had to have responsibilities for worldwide development and regulatory approvals. So major, major changes. I think it's important as I tell you a little bit about the story and how we decided to approach the challenge and the opportunity that we had, was what was the mission and vision of Takeda for Millennium and Oncology. And it really was to build a leading oncology organization. That's why Takeda acquired Millennium. And our pipeline and our goal really is on innovation. Innovation in terms of novel targets and molecules, primarily first-in-class, some best-in-class programs, a diversity of target pathways and modalities, a sizable enough pipeline to ensure that we have enough coming out the other end, as we heard this morning. And also building a very strong reputation as a science-driven, patient-oriented oncology company, something that had been at the roots of Millennium all along, but something we thought was very important for success in the future. So this is the current Millennium pipeline, and I just want to illustrate a few points about this. First of all, obviously it's a lot larger than it was before, but one of the very first things that we did was go through a very rigorous portfolio prioritization process. And while there's a lot of molecules up here, not all of them are created equal. We make sure that we have high priority molecules that we invest a disproportionate amount of our resources in. I think it's a very critical component of success across the board, especially in all areas, but oncology being very important too. The other thing I want to illustrate from this slide is that the molecules on this pipeline chart come from a lot of different places. Some come from a Millennium Discovery Organization, some from Takeda. Many of them are in partnerships. So we have a large partnership with Amgen around several molecules, one which is in co-development, one where we have Japan-only responsibilities. From the time that we were acquired by Takeda, we bought a company called IDM and acquired a compound for osteosarcoma that's approved in Europe. and just recently did a deal with Seattle Genetics on a very exciting novel molecule for Hodgkin's disease. So in addition to just the overall inflection of bringing this pipeline in, we've done a lot of additional business development activities, which we think is critical. And so there's not a one-size model for all the molecules, given that when things are in partnership, it creates different challenges.